It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to The New Next, a podcast that addresses current events and how they will impact the future. I'm worried about, because not litigation, but the laws that will come in way later, because we're still dealing with things from 30 years ago that the laws haven't caught up with yet. And
this is why we elect politicians. And I think that this is just something, there's a lot of stuff that's changing right now where we're seeing where it's breaking. Like crypto is a good example too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, there's a need for a framework so people can kind of understand what's going on. And that we can come to at least a common agreement that's going to suck and everybody's not going to be happy. But those are typically the best agreements to start from. So you can, adopt it over time. But it's my opinion, this is a whole new thing that we've visualized for so long. And computers and internet's only gotten fast enough where we can really take this to a level where it's just it looks like magic, right? Copy AI feels like magic when you do it. And there's a lot of this stuff. It's just, we're kind of figuring out what the landscape's going to look like now. You don't typically agree to landscape an entire yard before you see it for the first time. And unless you're Joel. So he's nodding his head, but yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you should spit it out. It's probably a lot better.
I was just thinking, the development of automobiles, right? Early on, it's a completely unregulated platform. It's something that you work on, in your home, your garage. It's only available to, the super wealthy or things like that. It has no safety features. If you get a crash, the steering column goes straight through you, or you get thrown out of the car. And over time, we've upgraded the technology. Brought seatbelts in, brought laws about wearing seatbelts in.
Thank you, Ralph Nader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was probably decades too late to save a lot of lives. And so I think it's a good reason to be proactive and really work on those questions. Because if you just leave it as the Wild West, you have all the unintended consequences, and doing nothing is doing something in that respect. But to your question on plagiarism, though, there are people building tools in that area as well, trying to help, IP lawyers, educators, people across the spectrum understand the quality of the writing, the source, whether or not it is kind of a human unique thought or just content spit out of the algorithm. On kind of the deep fake side, there are ways to look for artifacts inside of those videos to understand whether they've been modified or not. In that kind of information security space, and so thankfully there are efforts going on to work on that. But again, we're pushing so fast that there are plenty of facets of it that are going to be ahead of all of these questions. But I think it's absolutely important and required thing for us to do in order to be able to trust it.
Yeah, and GPT-3, I believe, has kind of like a framework that allows certain topics not to be utilized, is if I'm correct, right, Joel? You deal with this a lot, I believe.
Anybody in the touchdown space, Copy AI, Jasper, all put people's prompts and things like that through content filters, making sure that we're not generating anything horrible, terrible that we wouldn't want to represent ourselves as well. So there are definitely tools like that to make sure that on the image generation side, text gen, audio, all of those things that yeah, it's all legal and things like that.
It's really cool. I mean, I love this in so many different ways. Maybe it's being, growing up with a lawyer for a mom and stuff. I see some of this kind of stuff and I'm like, oh, but what if, what if, like, oh my goodness, this could happen. That is so cool. And oh my goodness, look who we have people in Congress right now that believe in aliens and,
have never used emails before.
Yeah.
I just remember the Zuckerberg, when he was in front of Congress and the people on the committee were asking him basic questions about how the internet works.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't think that's what you're here for right now. You only have like an hour to ask one of the most powerful people in the world about one of the most technologies in the world, and you're asking, how do you open your browser?
That's how you act when you can send an invite out whenever you want, and they're required to attend.
Well, recently it seems like you don't have to attend. So
yeah, I know exactly.
The he was never one of my chain, but one of the supervisors at my work 9 years ago, he got into a special position, and he had been doing the type of job he's been doing for, he's right on the edge of retirement. And I always get friendly with the IT people because I knew even then 10 years ago that they rule the world. So, I mean, I'm not completely stupid, just mostly. And I was asking so what are some of the biggest challenges you have, other than the IT crowd? Like, have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Is it plugged in kind of stuff? And they said we would spend an average of 10 hours a week going into his office to color code things in Excel, like changing the background from white to black or to green and to change the letters to different colors. And they would spend 10 hours a week. And knowing those guys specifically, I know that they wrote it out for him. I know that they showed him. And he had been using computers for the better part of 30 years. So it's not even something like a guy that didn't know how to use computers. He just never used Excel and
didn't want to learn,
or had passed the age where he was willing to put in the time to learn. Cause I don't think most people want to be ignorant. It's hard to not be.
Seems more like effort for him.
Well, I mean, and then the cost analysis of having 3 or 4 people spending 10 hours of to work on that is funny in one sense, but then I'm also thinking but that's where a majority of the people that are in Congress that make powerful opinions on some of this stuff, they're still learning how to color code, or hey, cool, I just made this PowerPoint presentation and every time I click a slide, isn't that cool? I put a sound on it and we're like, yeah, I've been doing that literally since 1996, but hey, cool.
It happens all the time though.
Oh, I know it does. I know. And that's kind of why I get scared when we say that we have elected officials making some of these decisions. Yeah. So but the technology is really cool, and I'm glad that you're working on it. And
they're the best that we have right now. So
wow.
We gotta be hopeful.
They're the ones who were elected. Let's just go with that. They were the ones who were elected.
Well, yeah, I know, but at this moment in time, they're all we got.
That's even a better option than saying they're the best.
Until we got some more.
I would say the two of you are already better candidates in that regard.
Well, no, I meant they're the best that we have right now in a sample size of 1 of 1, as in they're there and we're not in election season anymore, so we have to deal with them until we don't. So
election season is all the time. I mean, Matt 2020.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And announce it today, Matt. Let's go.
I will vote for you, Matt. I will vote for you, Joel. If you would like to learn more about the New Next podcast, find us at thenewnextpodcast.com, where you can suggest a topic you would like for us to cover. If you enjoyed what you heard, share the podcast, tell a friend about it, or rate us with 5 stars.